My name is Galileo Galilei, and this is my Draw My Life video. I was born on February 15th, 1564 in Tuscany, Italy. Although most of my family is unknown, my father, Vincenzo Galilei, was a very famous musician. People know me as the founder of modern science, but it wasn't always that way. Originally, I studied medicine at the University of Pisa in 1581, but I later changed my major to math and philosophy. I was then able to make major accomplishments in these subjects, but also in astronomy and physics. I was also a supporter of the heliocentric universe theory by Nicholas Copernicus. Copernicus's model was based around the fact that the sun was the center of the universe, and the earth rotated around it. When I heard of this different theory, I immediately felt that the heliocentric universe was the correct one over the geocentric theory, and I agreed how the earth wasn't motionless. Years later, I was eventually able to publish a book on why I thought the earth orbited the sun. Unfortunately, this caused controversy with many powerful people who did not agree with the idea of the heliocentric universe. These people went on to claim that I was actually a liar, and since they had the power, they were able to have me sentenced for life in prison. Thankfully, this changed to only a lifetime of house arrest, but that also later changed to me being free once my thinking was discovered and proved to be correct. As I had said previously, I originally studied medicine at the University of Pisa in 1581, but later changed my major to math and philosophy. I then went on to teach Aristotelian philosophy and mathematics to other people. In 1585, I finally decided to leave the university without a degree and began giving private lessons of mathematical subjects in the cities of Florence and Siena. I tutored the great Cosimo di Medici for several summers. I also lectured at the Florentine Academy. There, I published about my new invention of the hydrostatic balance. In 1592, I was appointed as the professor of mathematics at the University of Padua. I stayed there for 18 years. Those were the best years of my life. After living a long life, I died on January 8, 1642, at the age of 77. Luckily, I was able to leave my mark on this world as the Renaissance idol, before I passed. The Renaissance idol is someone who is able to make an impact on the world and forever change it. I was able to do all this thanks to my invention of the telescope. It all began around the year 1609, when I first heard of this amazing creation that a man named Hans Lippershey had created. I was very curious of this new invention and began trying to find out how it worked by trial and error tests. Eventually, I was able to not only learn how it worked, but I also began creating my own more powerful telescopes. Using the telescopes, I was able to make many discoveries. One of these discoveries was what the moon was like. At first, almost everybody thought the moon was just a perfect sphere. Well, it turns out that the moon isn't just a round, smooth ball of cheese. It actually has a very rough and uneven surface. I was also able to find out that Venus goes through similar phases to the moon. And did you know that Jupiter had 4 moons? Well, I didn't until I found them one day using my telescope. The Renaissance idol is also someone who is able to represent all 3 main values and characteristics of individualism, humanism, and secularism. Throughout the course of my life, I was able to easily show all 3. Individualism means having one's own path in life. Some examples of this is becoming famous, being who you want to be, having self-portraits painted of yourself, and working a job that your parents didn't. I was able to represent this value because my switch from studying medicine to studying mathematics and philosophy not only caused me to become famous, but because it also wasn't my parents' profession, nor what they wanted me to do. Humanism is classical learning focusing on people and humans rather than spiritual. Some examples of this is studying history, philosophy, art, geography, but also learning focusing on mankind and learning using critical thinking or rational thought. I was able to show this by supporting and studying the Copernicus' theory of the heliocentric universe because it was supporting a more realistic idea that humans aren't the center of everything, including the universe. But also because my studies were backed up by rational thought, since it was also proven to be real, and that was how I got out of house arrest. Secularism is the rejection of religion, or simply not believing it in everyday life. Some examples of this include non-religious art and writings, seeking non-religious answers to life or science, and rejecting previous teachings of the church. I was able to portray this characteristic because my discovery of the moon's shapes and Venus's phases were all very non-religious answers to life. Because of my actions, I ultimately can be called the Renaissance Idol. This revolutionary invention and these discoveries paved a new way in astronomy, science, and everyday life which still impacts our world today. For example, without the telescope, we wouldn't be able to find out things about the universe around us, but also about things like how the tides are able to rise and fall.
Hello everyone, my name is Galileo, and we're going to be doing a telescope ASMR. Here we have a sock. Wonder what's inside. Seems to be some sort of tube. I'm pretty sure